Morgan Ortagus, former State Department spokesperson and founder of Polaris National Security. Morgan, let's put up on the screen the map of Prigozhin's flight. He took off from Moscow. He was supposed to fly to St. Petersburg, but in the Tver region, suddenly the transponder disappeared off of the flight controller's console. U.S. officials believe it was a surface-to-air missile fired inside Russia that took it down. Putin sending condolences to Prigozhin's family, saying, "I knew Prigozhin for a very long time, since the early 1990s. He was a man with a complex destiny, and he made serious mistakes in life." One of them was to challenge Putin a couple of months ago, and it appears that he may have paid for that with his life.
Yeah, the only thing that I am sad about today, John, is that his death was not more slow and painful. That's the kind of death that the Wagner forces have inflicted on civilians in the Middle East and Syria, where they are responsible for helping Russia slaughter tens of thousands of civilians, not military, not combatants, but civilians. And they have the same track record in Africa, where they prop up some of the most oppressive regimes and slaughter civilians, women, children, it doesn't matter, anyone in their path. So today, I mean, listen, with Putin killing Prigozhin, I think what's interesting, John, is that you don't have me on today, 18 months after the invasion, to talk about what life is like for Ukrainians in Kyiv now that it's under Russian occupation. We're not talking about that. 18 months later, we're talking about how Putin had to kill his best friend.
Yeah. And we should point out that Kyiv is not under Russian occupation, but Wagner was definitely a big force in a lot of that fighting in the eastern section of the country. President Biden was asked about this yesterday while he was on vacation at Tom Steyer's $18 million home in Lake Tahoe. Here's what he said.
I don't know for a fact what happened, but I'm not surprised.
Do you believe?
There's not much that happens when Russia and Putin not behind.
So he says there's not much that happens in Russia that Putin's not behind. What message was Putin sending with this, if indeed, as American officials suspect, he was behind it?
Well, I looked up an old quote from Putin. He once said something that's very timely and relevant today. He said that the only thing that is unforgivable is betrayal. And so he clearly has lived up to that moniker. But listen, Putin is somebody, this is not someone that operates in the community of civilized nations or should be treated as such, right? This is someone who has gone after reportedly former British spies in the United Kingdom, trying to poison them, trying to kill them. You know, he's on par with like Kim Jong-un, who poisoned his brother in an airport, right? This is a despicable, despotic regime that should be treated like North Korea, like Kim Jong-un. And he's lived up to that today. Putin and Prigozhin fighting is sort of like ISIS and Al-Qaeda fighting with each other. You just, you know, you root for them both to win.